What is going on, guys? My name is Jeff with Slayers Gaming, and today we're going to be taking a look at the notes for patch 7.1.5. And man, I cannot wait for this patch to finally go live. I have read that this patch will be coming out on the 10th of January, so it's right around the corner. And after that, then we're gonna be seeing the new raid that's going to be coming out, I believe, on the 17th of January as well. So this month is going to be pretty busy as far as content goes, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. But right now I want to know what kind of changes they're going to be making to Death Knights. So let's go ahead and take a look at Death Knights, specifically the Frost and Unholy. And because right now Frost, I think it's in a really good spot right now on live. It's very viable in PvE. It's very viable in PvP, especially in like 2v2, 3s, and rated battlegrounds. It's just a really strong spec overall. It does really good damage. So let's take a look at what's going to happen in patch 7.1.5 to Frosty Case. Alright guys, so now let's take a look at Abomination's Might. So it looks like it's getting a tooltip update, because on live it's pretty ambiguous. You don't really know how much of a percentage you have for it to affect the enemy. But in 7.1.5 it's basically 20%. So it's just a tooltip update there. Breath of Sindragosa is going to get a pretty big buff, so it's going to go from 175% on live to 287.5% of attack power once 7.1.5 hits, and that will basically make this talent the go-to talent, I think, because on live it's actually not bad. It does really good damage, but in 7.1.5 it's going to be buffed pretty significantly. So I think this talent is going to be the go-to choice for PvP and PvE. It's going to be pretty nuts. Next talent that's getting a small buff is Freezing Fog. So it's getting a 5% buff. So it's going from 25% to 30% increased damage for Howling Blast and Frost Fever. Gathering Storm is also getting a 5% buff as well. Horn of Winter is getting a small buff, so instead of it generating 10 runic power, it's going to actually generate 20 runic power when you use it. Not too bad. Small buffs here and there. Hungering Rune Weapon. Wow, this is going to be awesome. So they're going to be buffing this from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. So basically, this talent, when you combine it with Breath of Sindragosa, I think in PvP or PvE, I think it's going to be pretty nuts, because I think with this you can probably keep your breath up for about a good minute, in PvE at least. In PvP you might be able to keep it up for a minute if you don't get stunned or CC'd or whatever. But these two talents, I think in PvP come 7.1.5 are going to be pretty nice to have. Pretty nice. They're going to have really good synergy with each other. Murderous Efficiency. So now I'm actually really glad they did this. They're buffing it from 50% to 65% chance to cause you to gain 1 rune, and I think that's awesome, because on live it's too hit or miss. There are times where when I take this talent it just feels like I didn't take anything at all. Like my RNG is really bad, I don't ever generate a rune, but at least buffing it to 65% chance, it might make this talent worth using, at least in PvP, because in PvP we're always obliterating, and it's actually really nice to have, to use obliterate and get 1 rune refunded to us now. And if we have really good RNG, just imagine how many obliterates we can do in a PvP setting. So it's pretty nice. Volatile Shielding is getting, looks like a tooltip update. I don't see any buff or nerf here. Yeah, so it's basically just a tooltip update. White Walker is getting a buff, so it's going from 20% reduced damage to 30%, and they're making the slow. They're increasing the slow, so from 50% to 70%. Alright, specialization, Howling Blast. Looks like Howling Blast is getting a small nerf, it looks like. Frost damage to the foe. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be kind of a small nerf to that. Icebound Fortitude is going to be available to all specs now. I think it's already like that on live, I'm not sure. I guess it's going to be, I guess it's just a tooltip update, because it's already like that on live, I believe. Runic Empowerment is getting a small update, or a small buff I should say, so from 1% to 1.5%, okay, not too bad. So, what else? Honor Talent, Overpowered Rune Weapon, its cooldown is reduced by 2 minutes. So what is this, like a... Okay, so it's like, I guess, a tooltip update as well. Alright guys, so overall, Frost spec is actually looking like it's going to be really strong come 7.1.5, and I think it's probably going to be one of the best specs in PvP, at least for Death Knights. I don't know, these changes, especially to Breath and to Hungarian Rune Weapon, yeah, I think it's going to be really, really amazing, and I really can't wait for the changes to go live. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you like and subscribe. Also, I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of the Frost Death Knight changes? Do you think Frost is going to be really overpowered next patch in PvP and PvE? I definitely want to hear from you guys, and I want to read some of your comments to see, get you guys' opinion that also play Death Knights. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.